Good evening, everyone. My name's Chris Cooper, known as the Channel Guy Trader, and I'm reporting to you live from Wall Street Trading's Miami office down in sunny South Florida. Today's date is Monday, December the 30th, 2013, and here is today's After the Bell Market Summary video brought to you by WallStreetTrading.com. Before I get into the video here, just want to give you guys a quick reminder to go check out the website. At the same time, Happy New Year's to you all out there, as I'm pretty sure some of you guys will not be in front of the screens tomorrow. We'll be back until Thursday or maybe even next week, as a lot of people are still on vacation away from the screens. That's why we have this light volume in the markets here. Is it's still that little holiday season draft going on right now. So I just want to make a quick short video. I'm finally back into the office myself. A lot of traders came back into the office down here at our Miami location down in Coral Gables, Miami, Florida here. And we're just rocking and rolling. A couple movers and shakers out there. Casinos are doing pretty well. You had some action in NQ, CZR, some weakness in some of the material stocks. So let's go ahead and break down the video here. Again, just a quick little video. Nothing too crazy, as you really can't get a good read on some of this stuff until volume starts picking back up again. So we had the Dow Jones up 25 points today, close to 26 there. The Nasdaq down 2.5. S&P 500 pretty much flat, down a little over a quarter point. And let's see here. We had 3,177 issues advancing on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and the Amex. We had 3,162 issues declining on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and the Amex. In terms of new highs and new lows, though, there was definitely a nice shift there. We had 509 issues making new highs and 44 issues making new lows. That's pretty good right there. Even though the market, you can see, didn't do much. So let's go ahead and break down the charts real quick. SPY, the S&P 500 ETF, spiders down again, pretty much flat, down 2.5 cents. Again, nothing going on here. One thing to take note of is that we are at the top of this key trend line that we've been watching from this little big channel. You can see we've been chopping around there. A couple weeks ago, back here in November, on the November the 18th, we came up towards that top trend line. We sold off a bit, rallied right back up. You can see that level was acting as resistance for the past couple times here, rallied right back down, and then same thing here going on. All right, sorry about that. I had to pick up a call here. So again, so we're bumping our heads against this key upward channel, long-term upward channel that we've been in. You can see every time we get close to that area, they sell it until finally last couple weeks here, last 2 weeks they brought us up, and now we're chopping around here right now. One thing to take note of though, if I was to just take off all these drawings here, look, check this out, hide all the drawings, and we just look at this chart here, we're definitely in a nice little cleanup trend. We made a high on Friday, new high on Friday, and nothing much today. Volume's pretty low, and we're still holding these nice fast lines that we use here on our charts. The 5 and 8 EMA, we're still above those, and we're a little bit extended from the 20 EMA right here. But again, we still have these little fast short-term moving averages holding us up. So until we really start breaking back below these faster moving averages like we did right back here, I would remain neutral to bullish and buying dips and strong equity names. Again, there are some movers and shakers out there, which we'll take a look at here shortly. Let's go ahead and take a look at the triple Q, the Nasdaq 100 ETF, the QQQ. And again, on the ES axis, you can see the same thing here. Of course, not much there. A lot of the momentum that has come into the market has been from this most recent breakout above this key level right here above the 1806. So you can imagine it's a little short term to intermediate term swing traders. They're long from somewhere down here on this 1807, 1808 area. I'm pretty sure they're still holding those swing trades. Really, until we start breaking below some of these lows from these little candlesticks, they may get taken out of some other position if they're trailing the stops by the previous bar low, stuff like that. So again, until then, they're probably just gonna be holding their longs, which gives us the reason to just be kind of neutral to bullish in the markets with the trend. But in any case here, taking a look at the triple Q, the Nasdaq 100 ETF, again, this was the most recent range that we had broke out of. Once we started holding above that 8340 level, we started taking off to the top side. All right, we remember we like the action in the technology space. Um, if you take a look at this one trend line right here, you could draw in and use that as a gauge. All right, then you can actually draw a little duplicate, and now you have a nice little upward channel that's in play right there. So just little things like that to kind of manage your risk and see what's going on as we're in this little slow market environment right now. Really not expecting volume to pick up until, say, I would say next week, Monday, we should have some action. but we'll see how that plays out. Taking a look at the IWM, the Russell 2000 ETF here, still in this nice little upward channel. We're back above that 50% trend line. If you guys been watching our videos here, all right, remember above the 50 we're bullish, below the 50 bearish, above the 50 bullish. You know, anytime you see a big range, draw your 50% trend line, whether it's a horizontal range or whether it's a little downward sloping range, draw your 50% trend line, whether it's an upward channel, you know, draw your 50% trend line. They do come in handy as, you know, it's kind of like the median price of the whole range. So kind of like the revert into the mean fiasco there. But with the technical analysis, they're not really putting too much hard work and effort to finding out the actual numbers and stuff like that. You know, just kind of a bird's eyeball view of what's really going on. Right, above the 50 bullish, below the 50 bearish. Plain and simple. Keep it simple, right? So that's how the IWM is looking. I have been seeing some decent action in some of the small cap stocks, but again, volumes light, so some of them could be popping up with just, you know, a couple of big buyers, and they could easily pop the stock up. I want to take a look at the VIX real quick, see what's going on there. The VIX, again, we had that little ABC measured move that we took from this little low to that little pullback right there that it had that little move up. It did give you a nice little measured move. You can see these are both of these are the same distance. That's what we teach in our education course, and you can find some of that extra information on our website, wallstreettrading.com. And again, if you guys want to trade with us intraday, go to our chat room, mywallstreettv.com, which you can find some information on that via the website on the right hand side of the home page. So now we have the VIX going back up. The VIX did respect this 1180 area down here. We gapped up today and was a gap and go. If we get back above 1350 and start holding a bit above 1350, I think that we could say that this VIX is possibly going to have this little 12 dollar base down here, at least for the part of the first quarter. And you know, maybe we have some people starting to buy some volatility to protect their portfolio again. But you know, every time the VIX pops up, you guys know what they do. They smack it right back down. Nothing new. So we'll have to see what happens there and how that takes shape. Let's go take a look at the commodities real quick. Again, I'm going to look at some stocks that just have been away from the screens here, so I want to take a look at the broad markets and the macro analysis, see what's going on here. Again, gold, you know, definitely looked like it was going to get a bounce last week, but again, light volume floated the market up. We rallied right back into this prior resistance, and we're getting smacked right back down. So gold does not look ready to bounce yet, and definitely looks like it wants to go a little bit lower. If we're looking at gold, we want to make sure we look at the GDX. So what's the GDX doing? Well, GDX got a nice little bounce. You can see it's still, cannot get above this declining 20-day EMA, SMA, having some trouble there. Expect this to go back down towards the low, especially if gold holds that lower pivot high that it put in earlier. Watch for the gold miners to go down. Silver. Let's go and take a look at silver futures. All right, copper has been trading pretty strong compared to the other precious metals. I'm watching silver. As you guys know, it's coming right into this little key, a little black channel that I have up there for my prior proprietary channel analysis that has been a long-term channel. And for the fact that it's respecting this nice little long-term channel for the past, I would say, 4 months there, I definitely want to keep an eye on it here, because if it does get rejected right here and starts rolling back over, then we can see silver possibly roll back over and get some little bit of short-term momentum selling in there going into the new year. We'll see. I can't wait to see how the precious metal sector, the basic materials, how all those different rotations take place going into the new year, as we expect that new money flow to come back to the markets here at the start of the quarter. So we'll see how that plays out. What else? Copper. Copper has been pretty strong compared to the other precious metals. Again, you can see we're back near the top of that range, right up there. We're trying to get back above. Actually, we broke above it here. Trying to get back with this 340 range. You can see back here in April, the top of that 340 is staying in that big range. We broke this little upward channel, got right back. We broke the upward channel right here, drifted lower, and now we're trying to claw our way back up towards that band, maybe to get a retest or something. I don't know. Or better yet, I could even take that trend line out because I don't really like it anymore. But same thing, big range. They sold them. They popped the market above that 340. Maybe hit some sell stops. Some buy stops if anybody was short from this area still on a long-term basis, or maybe hit some buy stops that triggered some longs, and now they're stuck kind of flat or with no with a flat position or something right there. We got to definitely see what's going on with copper. Definitely like the action though, and we'll be doing some more DD on that going forward. What else? Let's take a look at the bonds. I want to look at the bonds a little bit more closely, a little bit more closer into the new year. as I am expecting bonds and the TLT to start breaking and holding below this 102 level. Again, this trade is a little bit tricky though, because we never know what they can announce from the Fed. All right, there's definitely more easier trades out there, but if the bonds do start rolling over, again, I think you should try to watch this TMB. Again, you really want to wait till it catches some momentum move, and you can catch a nice little wave, something like what took place right here. All right, to make it the easy trade. You don't want to get caught up trying to do anything in this little chop action right there. So, oh, I think I just figured something out here. In any case, that's how the bonds are looking. Again, TMB, something I'm watching at the 20 plus year or call it 30-year bonds start selling off and those rates start ticking back up, which they have been, but a little bit of pullback in those rates for the past couple of days here. What else is going on? So let's go and take a look at some names, folks. Actually, let's finish taking a look at these commodities here. Finishing off with crude oil down $1.09 today. All right, crude oil did get a nice little bounce. Now it's chopping around this area. Looks like it flashed above 100 on Friday last week, and now it's back below 100. We'll definitely keep an eye on that key number there and go from there. So let's talk about some stocks. Again, we saw some weakness in the basic material space. ExxonMobil was down a little bit today. You had some action in CBSX. Disney was up today. Apple was down 1%. Saw some weakness in the gold miners. Newmont Mining down close to 3%. So basic material sector was weak, mixed across the board. Services did pretty good. Financials were pretty much flat to negative, and technology was pretty much mixed again. Light volume, mixed markets. Really can't get a good read right now. Definitely want to wait till this volume picks back up and see what's actually getting most of the attention. So Apple gapped up. I believe it had some China mobile news that came out last week Monday. Gapped up, ran into this little double top action. They sold it right back down. And the most recent pivot that most people are working their stops off of if they got long in this area right here is pretty much below 540. So I do think they try to run this thing down to 540, which will also coincide with this rising of 50-day moving average, EMA, SMA. Got to watch that. And that's actually around 537.94. So Apple's pulling back a little bit. Nothing too much to talk about there. Gapfill is right at 550, which you can see they covered a little bit right in front of Gapfill today. Amazon's down $4.71 today. Still remains a strong stock on our radar, holding that nice 20-day moving average, looking pretty good. Pulled back the past two sessions here, but nothing real crazy. If we were to see a decent pullback in Amazon, I would say this 371 is going to be decent level. Prior resistance broke out, so now supporting this area. We also have some decent support right in front of that level right here around 380, or better yet, some more support right here as well, 390, since this was a consolidation range that we had before we broke out. It should act as support. Prior resistance should now act as support. So keep an eye on those levels right there. Seeing some more technology stocks. Cisco up 1% today. IBM continues to climb pretty good ever since we talked about a possible bottom reversal here in that weekend review video I believe I put out that weekend. And IBM continues to run up now. It's going to be kind of hard to buy it right here, even though I do think it could go higher. But it's always hard to pick a stock that's in a trend that's already been going up for a couple of days, because it could go up higher, but at the same time, if you buy it right here, it may pull back a little bit against you, and then give you some pain, then start rallying up. That's why if you miss the entries down here, you may want to wait for a pullback unless you get another momentum trade that you can put a stop underneath that momentum igniting bar or something like that. You guys understand what I'm trying to explain there. So IBM definitely looks like it's trying to catch some bottom feeders down here. And this stock has definitely been a non-performer for the year of 2013. Maybe it gets a little buyback action this week, as it is at some long-term key moving averages on the monthly and the weekly chart. Let's take a look at Newmont Mining. Just kind of want to see what this stock did today. Again, just seeing these miners there, the dead money. All right, let's just short them. Google down close to 1% today, down $8.94. Hit a new high today by, see, 11/20/28, 11/20. So hit a new high by like 23 cents and reverse right back down. A little bit engulfing candle there, you could say. Google seeing some weakness. Some of these momentum stocks, price lines breaking down. Take a look at this, folks. This may be a good move for some of you guys that like to trade these high price stocks with options. Price lines starting to break down. All right, we saw some weakness in Netflix pulling in. All right, It looks like they sold it. Look, Netflix put a lower high in from that lower high that it made from those earnings that back here in October. Lower high there. All right, so we gotta watch the Netflix. Still remains in a decent uptrend, but the stock is kind of just chopping around, grinding its way higher. Definitely will be a stock we're going to watch into the new year. Um, what else? CZR. CZR definitely like the action in the casinos. You can see got a little bit of say a little cup and handle pattern going on right there. I think CZR is going to start making its way up toward this most recent lower pivot high that it made right there. Maybe hit some buy stops if anybody's short from this little breakdown it had, or maybe somewhere back up towards this area 24. We had this consolidation right here, so the bottom of that consolidation will be resistance of 25. So these are potential targets: 22 half, 24, 25 area. All right, as long as we continue to see that momentum in the casino space and gaming space, Wynn Resorts making a new all-time high. We've been talking about these casinos, LVS, all right, up there, MGM, decent. You got MPEL you can look at, which is slowing down. This one has been kind of grinding higher as well. And am I missing one? MGM, LVS, Wynn, CZR, MPEL. Might be missing one. Let's see. Let's take a look at some of these other high flyers we've been watching. SCTY, still working off this nice little candle right here, trading sideways. This one may be ready to go pretty soon if it catches some momentum. You can see big up bar here, trading sideways in the upper 50% of that big bar. I would say once it gets a break over 59 with some volume and momentum, this thing can really get going. As the soles still look as if they're holding up a bit here. Take a look at CSIQ. Nice, decent pattern there. Let me see. Bring up a couple more names there. SPWR. What's this thing doing? SPWR. Nice little kind of engulfing candle right there. Definitely looks like it wants to maybe take a push higher. Take a look at the 60-minute chart. This thing is pretty strong today. Nice strong move there. Keep an eye on this one for tomorrow. WFR, another solar name. This thing has been pretty strong. Nice little move up. And a couple of things shaking and baking. As far as some weak stocks go, ExxonMobil, a little pullback. Stock is experiencing there. Down $1.20 has been a nice little performer. Nothing too crazy. Halliburton, little pullback action there, down over 1.25%. PXD got smacked down today, down 3%. Again, these things are really just trading sideways. I'm not really seeing any crazy sector rotation that I noticed based on my analysis going on right now. I do see a couple of buyers coming into the coal names, WLT, which they all pulled back today, but WLT, back above that 1650 level. You have A&R breaking out of a little downward, trying to break down. I'm sorry, trying to break out or so above this little downward bullish triangle. Sorry, bullish channel that it has right here. All right, give me 1 second. All right, 1 second. So you got again these coal stocks. See A&R, little downward channel. Once it gets some action out of that downward channel, this thing may get a pop. Keep this one on your radar. The first target would be back up towards those 830s or those 850s. Then you have BTU, which has been holding the $18 level here for about the past 4 or 5 weeks now. And this thing's going to trigger a buy if it gets over this 1960s or so with some decent volume. Would be a decent trade for a move back up towards 21. So there's some movers and shakers out there. I didn't cover them all, just because again, volume's kind of low. It's kind of hard to get a read on some of these names. Want to make sure I talk about Disney. See how this chart's shaping up. Disney, nice little breakout there. Stock looks like it's making some all-time highs, possibly. Am I wrong on that? Is that correct? Well, that's what it looks like. So it looks like it's making some all-time highs here on Disney. But aside from that, folks, have a great day. It feels good to be back in front of the screens, even though we're not really trading that much heavy until the start of the new year, maybe next week. Aside from that, have a great one, and we'll catch you guys in the chat room tomorrow, mywallstreettv.com. Cheers.